Does anyone have a question?
I have one, Stuart. Um, I've been dealing with a lot of fear lately, and this class was actually really, really tough for me, and I had to dig in so deep. Um, and I don't know what my question is actually, but can you talk about fear?
You know, I did a couple of classes ago and went into it in great depth. All right, we'll talk about it again. I mean, look, fear is not necessarily a negative thing. What you just expressed, this class forced me to go really deep inside myself. If that's what fear does, then fear is working for you. It's enabling you to truly tap an energy source in yourself that you wouldn't ordinarily tap. So fear is not the enemy. The enemy is the human mind. Understand what happens when we feel fear is we let our mind get involved, our emotions get involved, and this kind of buoy that is just warning us that it's not safe to navigate rocks over there. It becomes a Frankenstein. We build it up into some kind of creature that it really isn't. And in truth, you know, having a little fear is very healthy. It's healthy for a number of reasons. First of all, it's reminding you that things are changing inside you. And there's always fear when we have to step into the unknown, when we have to change, and things, you know, we have to let go of things that were keeping us from truly evolving and growing spiritually. There's going to be fear. It's just a natural human response to change. Once we change and get over the abyss and, you know, that void between here and wherever, understand? I mean, there's exhilaration, there's joy, there's love. We're capable of moving on. And fear is just resistance to doing it. Or it's not even resistance to do it, it's a sign that we're changing. We create the resistance with our minds. We create the anxiety, the insecurity, you know, that, as I said, Frankenstein that continues to grow inside us and eventually just consumes us because we allow our mind to, you know, develop that kind of creature in ourselves that literally eats us alive. So fear in itself is not the problem. The problem in people is the lack of training. They don't know how to get grounded, you know, in themselves. They don't really know how to keep their hearts open. That's really the problem. And the fear is just saying, hey, look, you've been doing this meditation for a while and something is going to truly change inside you. And you're going to have to let go of the old and allow yourself to step into a whole new cycle of living. What it is, I don't know. I truly don't know. But each and every one of us finds out in our own unique way. So if you feel that kind of fear, one way of quieting it is just be grateful to it. It's your guide. It is telling you, you are changing now. And people without consciousness, you understand, they allow fear to grow and become, you know, it's like a horror movie. And that fear consumes them. It makes them neurotic. It makes them unhappy. It consumes them. Instead of just being a buoy telling you, hey, don't navigate your ship over here. There are rocks that they're gonna wind up at the bottom of the sea. Look, I don't believe, and this might sound outrageous to many of you, that there's anything negative in the world. Whatever the experience it is, it has a singular purpose, and that's to truly help us to change, to grow, to open to a higher level of consciousness. And once you can open to that transcendental energy, you understand you have the capacity to transform positive and negative into a oneness. But there is no longer positive and negative. There's only life teaching us what we have to do to grow. So don't let the fear take over. Just open your heart and say, hey, okay, things are changing. I want to change. I want to grow spiritually. I want to get closer to God. And, you know, my heart's open. I'm grateful. And I'm not going to allow fear to take over, to get into my mind and emotions and take over my entire being.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? I remember when I was younger, I used to be afraid to get up in front of audiences, to talk in front of people. And one of the reasons I began to study acting was not so much to become an actor. I didn't think that was in my calling, but to learn how to stop being afraid. You know, learning how to not be afraid of other people's judgment, what people think, what they don't think, you know, their opinions. And after a couple of years of learning this, it really took me to a much deeper place in myself, much stronger place. This is before I met Rudy. And I discovered the fear I had of being in front of an audience and people's opinions, and this, I manufactured it. And I began to take it into my mind and emotions, and it was crippling me. When I stopped doing that, it just stopped crippling me. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, you know,
Stuart, sometimes I may go through periods where I have some very strong classes, and then other times there could be like weeks where I feel like I've plateaued or stuck, and then out of nowhere the strong classes start again. Can you talk a little bit about those periods?
well, welcome to the Kundalini Yoga Club. I mean, look, how to be smart about what you just asked. You grow inside yourself. You open to much higher, more powerful energy sources. Then you got to digest it. You have to allow it to become part of your inner being. Digesting it is a whole different level of working on yourself. It means you kind of level off on a plateau. But it's not really a plateau. It's just a period of your life where you are digesting the growth that has taken place. And then once all of that energy, that Shakti is digested, as you said, it always opens and a whole new energy force comes into you in a new way of working. Right? So what you described is really part of the process. And it's nothing to worry about. It's being a member of the Kundalini Yoga Club. I've been going through that even my entire life. I mean, especially in the last month. Oh my God, what a month. But, you know, it passes. Everything passes. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob.
How best to put into perspective love for myself in service to my inner work?
I mean, you could answer that question, you know. I mean, how best? You, Bob Sink, Robert Sink, through your actions and the way you interact with people and the love you have for Rudy's work. I mean, you know, you do stuff for people that I wouldn't even go near, Bob, only because they are somehow connected to Rudy's work. And you have to be grateful to have that kind of nobility of soul, to have that kind of depth inside and gratitude inside. And it's not just lip service gratitude, it really is in your actions. I mean, for God's sake, those people go up to Big Indian from Texas and you wind up for a week making dinner for everybody. I mean, you know, you probably don't even know half those people. What is it for? Your gratitude to Rudy, the work, you know, what it's done for your life, how you've grown. Never forget that. Never forget it, Bob. You know, you were worthy of really having a tremendously profound love for yourself and who you are as a human being. So, I think that's a way, you know, it's a very important way. Never sell yourself short. And you are worthy of a thank you from other people. You are worthy of people bringing you a flower, a cake, or this or that, a thank you, you know? And if they don't do it, well, fuck them. Their lack of consciousness, you understand, their inability to see somebody who is truly being of service to them and to whatever is going on at Big Indian. And it's just a very good way of doing an important thing, Bob, just liking yourself. Liking yourself. You're worthy of being a happy person, of having a heart full of love. You're worthy of being loved by other people. You're worthy of loving yourself. And in many ways, you know, like a lot of those people I want to have nothing to do with for a lot of reasons, you know. And your approach to them is much bigger than mine, Bob. Well, mine would be a lot more complicated, you know? So I'd rather avoid the complications and do what I'm doing and serving the people who come and open to the teachings that I give.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be meditation tomorrow evening. You know, I'm trying to get to a place in myself where less is more. I don't have to get strong with people, angry, if you know, just less. Allow this energy to come through and allow myself to be a servant of God, a servant to my teachers, a servant to the people that made it possible for you to have my life. By really getting closer and closer to a state of nothingness inside, a state of openness. So thank you, and God bless you all for being here. And I'm looking forward to having a class tomorrow. And be well, take care, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Very much, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good night.
Thank you, Guruji.
Good night.